want to personally thank each of you for stepping off the sidelines and getting involved. Whether it's in your community, at school, or in your professional life, you have chosen to take action instead of sitting back. That kind of spirit is what moves us forward as a country. I know there are Bahamians out there who sometimes wonder if this is still a country worth coming back to, or whether they see themselves in the vision of what the Bahamas can be. I promise you, I wake up every day committed to fighting for the kind of country you can see yourself thriving in. You are the generation that isn't afraid to break boundaries and challenge the norm. You are bold, determined, and full of potential. Whatever you choose to build your life here at home or make your mark on the global stage, we are rooting for you every step of the way. We want the world to know what Bahamian excellence looks like, and I have no doubt that you will continue to show them. I am pleased to announce that the power purchase agreement between Bahamas Power and Light and Energy Bahamas Holdings Limited has been finalized. This is a significant step forward as we continue to implement the energy reforms necessary to secure a reliable and sustainable energy future for the Bahamas. This agreement ensures that we can immediately enhance our energy capacity while paving the way for the transition to cleaner fuels, including liquefied natural gas. And by June 2025, these dual-fuel turbines will run fully on LNG, reducing emissions.
When it comes to electricity, Bahamian households and businesses want two main things: to be confident that the electricity, or as we say, power, will stay on, and two, power bills that are affordable. These two basic needs aren't confined to any section of society. Rather, these needs are aspirations that we all want and deserve. Going further, and to be very frank, Bahamians are simply tired of hearing about the electricity challenges. They want sustainable and lasting solutions. Now, we understand that there's a great deal of skepticism, as our past actions over several administrations have not yielded the intended results in a sustainable and lasting manner. But we cannot allow the skepticism to deter us from acting. And let there be no doubt, the Davis administration is committed to acting. Our actions must secure a brighter energy future for all Bahamians.
The Office of the Prime Minister Press Office is the primary liaison between the Fourth Estate and the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet.
Every day, we are working to build a more inclusive economy and a stronger, safer country.
Hear all of the latest developments as the Davis administration carries out the broad mandate of progress and change. Our live weekly press briefings provide full access to current newsmakers on the most topical issues of the day. We facilitate prompt responses from cabinet ministers on the latest reports and get answers on the issues that matter to you.
Will any penalties be levied against this?
OPM Press Now, keeping you in the know. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to everyone in the room. Good morning to those watching online, and welcome to our weekly press briefing. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things. Firstly, we're going to be talking energy reform. For the better part of this year, and certainly for the last week, we've been hearing from the Ministry of Energy and Transport, specifically on the plans to deliver affordable and reliable power to Bahamians everywhere. As you probably observed, it is a very complex undertaking. But of course, the minister with responsibility for energy has gone to great lengths to ensure that all stakeholders are kept appraised of the latest developments. And we're happy that the minister has joined us here this morning to sort of review what has happened so far, place everything into context, and of course explain what this will mean, has meant for consumers in terms of the reduction of their electricity bills. We're also very pleased to be joined this morning by the Minister of Economic Affairs, the Honorable Michael Halkitis. He is here in his capacity this morning as the Minister with oversight for the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality. And as the name implies, that bureau is responsible essentially for ensuring that consumers are protected, that what you pay for is delivered in the way that it should be. We'll hear more about that and their plan to speak to the public about what their services are and pretty much inform people about what it is that they do and how they can assist. But we will get started now with the Minister of Energy and Transport, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, with the latest on energy reform in the Bahamas. Welcome, Minister.
Thank you, Press Secretary Natalie. Good morning, my fellow Bahamians and members of the media. I'm delighted to be here today to share updates on our work to transform our energy sector. As I've said before, when it comes to electricity, Bahamian households and businesses want two main things: to be confident that the electricity, or as we say, power, will stay on, and two, power bills that are affordable. For far too long, we have spent too much time talking and not enough time in creating a holistic vision that deliver a sustainable and lasting solution. The Davis administration has been working extensively, and as I've been sharing before, our energy reforms involve 5 key pillars. These pillars are building of utility-scale renewable energy power in the Family Islands, expansion of renewable projects on New Providence, modernization of the electricity grid and transmission and distribution network for New Providence through an operational partnership between BPL and Island Grid, transforming energy generation through LNG implementation in New Providence, and 5, the equity rate adjustment, better known as the ERA. For today's press briefing, I wish to focus on the last 3 pillars: the modernization of the electricity grid, transformation of energy generation through LNG, and the ERA. For too long, our transmission and distribution infrastructure has been the source of frequent outages, both prolonged blackouts and those nuances outages that disrupt our daily lives and cause frustration. These issues affect not only our comfort and security, but also our economy and way of life. I'm proud to announce a bold step forward: our partnership with the Bahamas Grid Corporation, a special purpose vehicle dedicated to bringing vital enhancements to our energy grid. A framework agreement has been signed by the government of the Bahamas with Bahamas Grid Company. The agreement is one of several agreements to govern this partnership. It is expected that operational framework will also be signed. Currently, the operational framework is being developed, and that agreement will have input from all stakeholders: BPL's board, executive management, and the 2 unions at BPL. There is a committee in place with representation from the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union and the Bahamas Electrical Utility Managerial Union to ensure that the rights of workers at BPL are respected and that their input is incorporated. All agreements with respect to Bahamas Grid Corporation partnership will be tabled in the House of Assembly. The partnership with BGC will fortify our transmission network with an advanced conductors with an initial investment of $130 million. This investment isn't just about dollars. It is about building a grid that can withstand the storms that challenge us each season, ensuring that our communities are better prepared and more resilient. This partnership is not merely about maintaining the status quo, it's about stepping into the future with a grid that is prepared for the energy challenges of tomorrow. This partnership isn't just about infrastructure, it's about people. BGC will provide invaluable training opportunities for our dedicated BPL staff, giving them access to the latest grid technology and enabling them to grow in their careers while supporting our core mission of providing safe, reliable, and cost-effective energy. With support from Pike Corporation, BGC gains the ability to leverage Pike's already established robust supply chain network, reducing lead times on crucial infrastructure equipment to help the Bahamas overcome supply chain constraints and deliver a more reliable service to the Bahamian people. As a good show of faith, Pike Corporation has been on the ground in New Providence providing support to assist the corporation in the Summer Readiness Program and use its supply chain network to acquire trucks for the Family Islands. As we look to the future, we know that renewable energy is essential to reducing our carbon footprint and building a sustainable Bahamas. But let me be clear, we cannot integrate renewables and other inverter-based resources into our grid without making critical enhancements to our T&D infrastructure. Different nations have already experienced the limitations of outdated T&D systems when adopting renewable energy. We can now learn from those experiences and avoid these pitfalls. By proactively strengthening our T&D network, we are addressing current issues and paving the way for a cleaner, more sustainable energy future. This partnership with the Bahamas Grid Corporation will make that possible. Together, we are building a resilient and modern grid that can support renewables, withstand the challenges of climate change, and bring more reliable, cost-effective energy to all Bahamians. On Tuesday, we commissioned 2 dual-fuel turbine engines because of a public-private partnership between BPL and Bahamas Utilities Holdings Limited. The partnership is guided by a 30-year power purchase agreement, commonly referred to as a PPA. PPAs are standard in practice in the energy field. The PPA for this project includes clearly defined key performance indicators and penalties for non-performance. Provisions has also been included to lock down rates, which will protect Bahamian households and businesses from large cost fluctuations. In many countries, including the United States, PPAs have been successful in positively transforming the energy system, delivering consistent electricity supply, reducing carbon emissions, and providing cost savings. The partnership with Bahamas Utilities Holding Limited will allow for BPL to increase its generation capacity with direct benefits to households and businesses in New Providence, such as improved reliability in the electricity service. Currently, the available electricity capacity on New Providence is 256 megawatts. At full capacity, these engines will add 62 megawatts of electricity to the grid. I wish to be clear, the engines are not being rented by BPL. Further, the engines are 35% more efficient than the older turbines that are currently being used. This will have tremendous cost fuel savings for everyone. The engines allow for dual technology, which will enhance operational flexibility. However, by June 2025, the engines will run on LNG. Our strategy also calls for all existing BUC plants to be moved from a rental agreement and placed under the PPA. One BUC engine will eventually be converted to LNG, and the Hyundai plant is not capable of conversion and will remain on diesel or HFO. Once the combined cycle with steam engine plant is complete, the Hyundai plant will be redundant capacity. The LNG fuel will be provided by Shell North America. Shell has been a pioneer in LNG for over 60 years and today has a leading integrated gas and LNG business. Further, Shell is one of the world's leading LNG supplier, trading 67 million tons of LNG in 2023, around 16% of the global LNG market. The partnership between BPL and BUH is representative of a strategic solution that has proven to be effective and successful in transforming the energy market. As with the agreement for BGC, the agreement with BUC will be tabled in the House of Assembly. The Equity Rate Adjustment Initiative, or ERA, was designed to make bills more affordable for Bahamian families as we transition to a new era in energy. The ERA saw a reduction in the base tariff rate for residential consumers. The adjustment creates a more equitable balance to the current tariff structure and encourages energy conservation. All residential consumers with low and moderate electricity usage will benefit, as the base rate tariff for the first 0 to 200 kilowatt hours will be reduced to 0. In July, over 79,000 residential customers saw a 5 to 50% reduction in their monthly bill under the ERA compared to pre-ERA tariff. In August, over 78,000 residential customers saw a 5 to 50% reduction in their monthly bill under the ERA compared to pre-ERA tariff. In September, over 81,000 residential customers saw a 5 to 50% reduction in their monthly bill under the ERA compared to pre-ERA tariff. To spur economic growth and by extension support homeownership and construction, the ERA also saw the base tariff being reduced for temporary supply customers. In July, over 2,100 temporary supply customers saw a 5 to 50% reduction in their monthly bill under the ERA compared to pre-ERA tariff. In August, over 2,140 temporary supply customers saw a 5 to 50% reduction in their monthly bill under the ERA compared to pre-ERA tariff. In September, over 2,180 temporary supply customers saw a 5 to 50% reduction in their monthly bill under the ERA compared to pre-ERA tariff. Now we understand that large commercial customers would have seen an increase in their bills due to the base tariff of that segment of customers being adjusted. However, it is our projection that the cost of energy should fall over time as a result of the efficiency upgrades at BPL, which include the installation of a new HFO boiler at Clifton Pier to save over $35 million per year in fuel costs, and the installation of two new LNG burning units, which will save over $29 million per year in fuel costs. As I conclude, I wish to reiterate that the Davis administration is working. Our energy transformation is a journey, and we are dedicated to achieving positive and meaningful lasting results. We fully understand that the promise of a brighter energy future would mean for our communities. For households, lower power bills could result in families saving more college for their children and being able to make principal payments on their mortgages to become debt-free. For large businesses, it could result in inventory expansion and the hiring of additional staff. And for small and medium-sized businesses, it could result in improved cash flow and profits. These are the aspirations that electrifies our work, and we hope to bring them about. I now invite questions from the media. Thank you.
Sir, can you elaborate on the specifics of the framework agreement, and can you just outline exactly how the $100 million investment will be spent?
First of all, the inventory purchases on material and equipment, I assume that would be the bigger part of the 130 investment. The framework agreement will be tabled, would allow for persons to really go through the specifics.
So indicated that the pipe agreement should have been finalized on Tuesday. Can you confirm that actually happened?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, yes.
How much was spent on the generators that were purchased at least at the
That would have been purchased under the PPA by the actual Bahamas utility holding, so they would have to provide that information. It was not a cost to the Bahamian people because it did not come under financial purchases of BPL.
all in the House yesterday, you said that you told me
question. So we created a financial roadmap, one that showed us a do-nothing option if we actually do nothing and the status quo remain, and the other one that showed us what these energy reforms would mean to the financial position of BPL. BPL will be building on their financial, but they have to pay down the legacy debt first. So the plan now is to manage how we're able to pay down the legacy debt and hope that we're able to get it in a better standing within 6 to 7 years so that we can begin to build up and improve our operations at BPL. And so all of these agreements that we entered into, we structured it as a build, operate, transfer, that options that exist for BPL to get back in the seat and manage and maintain their business. And hopefully we're able to right size, right ship BPL's finances so that they can once again lead fully. But these PPAs and these IPP partnerships will do a great deal of helping BPL begin to pay down their legacy debt and provide the lower cost electricity to Bahamians at the same time. So it's a capacity charge. So the rental agreements basically say, if you want to rent my apartment, just let me use that because it's kind of easier to understand. If you want to rent my apartment, this is all the luxuries that come with it. It's $5,000, but you got to bring your furniture, you got to bring this, you got to bring that, bring your food, everything. Under a PPA structure is capacity charge. So whatever usage comes out of the system, whatever you as a consumer is pulling out of the system, we would have that usage and those engines generating the fuel and the power to put into the grid. And based on those numbers, we'd be able to determine how much you used in that month and what the capacity charge is. And so all of that detail is in exhibits that are attached to the agreement. As we table the agreement, you'll be able to see the exact numbers. But understand the capacity charge is talking about 4-point-something cents for capacity, and then the fuel charge on top of that, which will be provided from Shell and A. What you see now in the rental agreement is a set rental price, and then BPL still have to provide all of the fuel for what we're renting, because all we're renting is for them to place the generator on the facility, attach it to the grid, and assist us in providing the needed generation. But under the PPA, it's a completely different structure. It's a capacity charge along with fuel, and it's all in. So the cost is tremendously less than what we have experienced under the rental structure.
It's indicated he didn't want to have to table all of these agreements in Parliament piecemeal. Is there a timeline where all of these documents will be tabled in Parliament?
Well, we are now waiting to conclude the agreements for the Family Island projects. Because of the larger demand on the major projects, we let them go before. But the Family Island, I think, is now in full discussion between the Attorney General Office and the vendors. Sorry, I had water in my throat. So the Attorney General Office and the vendors are now concluding the negotiations for those agreements. We'd hope to have them concluded in about 2 to 3 weeks, which means it may extend the time that we'd hope to table everything together. But before, I would say, Christmas, December, yeah.
About in the beginning of your address, you mentioned that I guess the ultimate goal is to lower the cost for consumers and power bills. With this agreement and the other agreement that you mentioned with the 2 turbine engines at Clifton Pier, when will consumers actually will see or reap the benefits from these agreements? Are you able, like, is this something like you said, like by December, where we will see maybe a significant drop in their power bills or significant change?
Well, first I spoke about the ERA, and we saw some reduction. It's a gradual process of reduction because we also have to implement efficiencies within BPL. A part of those efficiencies are when you have more efficient engines on your system, you should run them first. So now we have to schedule and design which engines will be first out the gate to produce the power that is needed from the demand that all of us clicking on our lights are asking. And so running your more efficient engine first, what that does is that automatically reduces cost because they are using less energy to produce the power. Being more efficient, it don't produce or don't utilize as much energy, so it's not demanding so much more fuel. Our present generators are very old. They have outlived their actual lifespan. And so they are working extremely, extremely hard to produce the energy that we are presently demanding. While they are still providing that service for BPL, they are working overtime and they're probably using more fuel. And so all of what we are trying to do is put efficiencies in place and improvements. You will see deductions gradually because we're going to be now able to put a more efficient engine first out the gate as opposed to the ones that we are heavily dependent on. The next thing is, I mentioned the boilers. So what the boilers do, the boilers are important to allow us to burn more crude oil, more HFO. So when I say HFO, that's heavy fuel, right? So the boilers allowing us to burn more HFO in our present and old generators also gives us a lower fuel cost because HFO is far more cheaper than diesel. So we have been using a lot more diesel because we didn't have boilers to cool and do the processing that is needed to run the generators on HFO. Having a boiler allows us now to run more generators on HFO, which allows us to buy lesser diesel, more HFO fuel, right? So that's another cost reduction strategy that we're utilizing at BPL. And then when we move to LNG, LNG is cheaper than HFO and diesel, right? So then you have LNG and it's running in more efficient engines. And so you have a more efficient engine using a cheaper fuel, which gradually, again, would see a cost reduction. And the last thing is we're bringing solar onto our system. So recall earlier this year, I think, we did an RFP for solar, utility scale solar in New Providence, and that's about 3 sites. So we should be getting about 75 megawatts, I think, coming from that solar. Now, naturally, that don't really translate into 75 because depending on how much energy it produces, passes into the grid, but it will be the capacity to gain 75 megawatts. But solar is powered by the sun, so if the cloud covers it, we get no energy. In any event, with the solar now being added into the system, that's not fuel, right? So all you're paying for is the operational operations of the solar scale plant. You're not having a fuel charge added onto that because there's no fuel needed to generate energy with solar. So these things, that's why I keep saying it's gradual that you will see it, but we hope that it continues from now as we go into the new year, that you continue to see gradual. We're also going to be talking some more energy tips because we also want consumers to buy in to the importance of energy conservation. Your usage also causes your energy price to be really high. So if you could take down your usage, then you'll be able to see even within yourself, within your home, you can control what you see in the cost monthly. And so I've done some talks and showed people how to read their bill, but I'll say now, if you look at the bars on your bill, they're blue. I think the one that is depicting the month that you're being charged is probably a little darker blue, and that shows you how much kWh you use. It shows you your 12 months usage. You can look at that and see how your usage changes over time, and you could even do some practices internally to decrease that.
Energy, I know that moving on to the island of Eleuthera, I know that you would have said that some generators were going down there to help out with their electricity problems because, the structures were outdated and they've also run its course. I guess, can we get an update? Are residents down there seeing a difference in their electricity problems?
So we've had teams, BPL teams that went over to assist from Long Island with our Eleuthera team. So we combined teams so that we could bring improvements faster. We've done work at the Roxdown station that we're bringing on some engines and putting in some of the materials that were needed to bring them back online. I would have to follow up with them on that. The last time I checked, they said it was maybe a week and a half out from them concluding the work that they were doing, and they would have 2 of those onto the system. Hatchet Bay, I think they're also doing the same to upgrade. Probably it was a fan or something. I'm not going to try to go too deep because I may get it wrong. But there were parts of our generator that had issues and they were looking to fix them. In Harbor Island, I spent the last weekend in Harbor Island at the regatta, And I don't want everybody to say the power was good because I was there, but I will say that the power was efficient and reliable. We did have a little slip, but it only lasted for 10 minutes. We do have one of our generators on the system fully. That has the generation capacity of 2.5 megawatts. What we're seeing now in Harbor Island, it's really growing, and we initially had generation capacity up to 6 megawatts, but the growth sometimes goes up to 8, 9 because of the new homes coming on. I think a marina is being built, and so we do have one engine. We have both engines that are ready to go on, and so we now have to make some movements from the rentals in order to put both of them on. But all of those two engines that I particularly spoke about for Harbor Island, they completed the work and they're up and ready to go, and one is already on the system.
Minister, what I understood from this capacity charge is that there's no projected cost for the PPA. Am I hearing that right?
No, the cost for the capacity is already set in the PPA, right? So you set the number, and then you set the cost of the fuel outrightly. You don't enter into it blindly, and then you don't write up one check. These costs are laid out in the PPA, so you'll be able to see that once we table all of the costs related, and that's how you know, how they calculate it, right? Remember, this is a pass-through. It's always been that way. So what you use is what you pay for. I think the last time I spoke, I said it was about 500 million.
Switch gears slightly to your transport hat. I know recently we saw the gas margin increase for the retailers. What is the response been, I guess, from bus drivers and I guess taxi drivers would fall under your portfolio? I know they.
So I had set up meetings with the taxi union, the livery union, and we were waiting for a convenient time for the bus drivers union to determine what it is that they've been seeing. And the two that I spoke to said that that was a major concern. A lot of their members had reached out to them, but they wanted to actually see if there was a great impact to them, if the cost went up tremendously, and then they wanted to come back to me and provide actual solutions or things to be considered that I could speak to my cabinet colleagues about. And so I'm open and available for them to come and meet with me if they see that it's changing a great deal and they want some further considerations.
You are actually in the papers this morning about another issue. What do you say to critics? You said that you would move to file a libel suit, a civil suit, maybe unwarranted considering the fact that when you put yourself into public light, you would put yourself up for like scrutiny.
I've answered questions related to that, and I've asked my lawyer to take action, and any other answers will come from the parties.
Sure, that you would come on top of this.
I have answered your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Colby Davis. We will switch gears now to speak on the objectives of an upcoming public discourse between the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality and members of the public. So we invite, firstly, the Minister with responsibility for Economic Affairs and this Bureau to address us on that upcoming event. Minister?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Adley. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I will just read a statement as it relates to our Made in the Bahamas certification. And following me will be the Executive Director of the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality, Dr. Renee Buffett, who will then talk more about the upcoming Made in the Bahamas certification and answer any questions that you might have. It is my distinct pleasure to be here today as we highlight the upcoming Made in the Bahamas certification program, a truly transformative initiative for our nation's economy and local industries. This program, spearheaded by the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality, the BBSQ, represents a bold step forward in promoting and certifying authentic Bahamian-made products that meet rigorous standards of quality and excellence. The Ministry of Economic Affairs is proud to support this effort, recognizing its potential to elevate Bahamian products on the global stage. The Made in the Bahamas certification mark will not only set a benchmark for quality, but also give local manufacturers and producers a significant competitive edge, enhancing their visibility both locally and internationally. This certification will serve as a seal of trust, ensuring that consumers at home and abroad can confidently purchase Bahamian products, knowing that they are made to the highest standards of craftsmanship, sustainability, and authenticity. And so as we continue to strengthen the Bahamian economy, initiatives like this will play a key role in fostering local entrepreneurship and building stronger consumer confidence in our products. And while the program's primary goal is to boost our domestic market and export capabilities, it would also act as a platform to showcase the ingenuity and creativity of Bahamian manufacturers. We anticipate it will significantly expand opportunities for our small and medium-sized enterprises, positioning the Bahamas as a leader in quality production within the region. Now, the program is set to launch early next year, and we encourage Bahamian businesses across all sectors to participate in this transformative journey. The Ministry of Economic Affairs, along with the BBSQ, will be working closely with all stakeholders to ensure this certification process is robust, transparent, and beneficial to the Bahamian economy. By promoting certified products, we can not only boost our export potential, but also drive consumer preference for locally produced goods. And so I would like to commend the leadership of the BBSQ under the guidance of its board and its chair, Ms. Angela Roll, and executive director, Dr. Renee Buffett, for steering this initiative forward, and other members of the board present. The upcoming town hall meeting on November 14th at the Holy Trinity Activity Center will be an important forum to gather input and feedback from stakeholders, ensuring the program reflects the needs and aspirations of our local industries. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is an exciting time for the Bahamas, and I encourage all Bahamian manufacturers and entrepreneurs to seize the opportunity to be a part of this groundbreaking program. Let us work together to build a stronger, more resilient Bahamian economy driven by quality, authenticity, and excellence made in the Bahamas. And I would now like to invite Dr. Renee Buffett, the Executive Director of the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality, to speak more about this upcoming Made in the Bahamas certification program and to take questions from the press. Dr. Buffett.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Minister, for your encouraging words and unwavering support of this initiative. We at the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality are proud to be leading the charge on the Made in the Bahamas certification program, which we believe will be a transformative milestone for Bahamian industries. The groundwork for this program has been extensive. We began by conducting preliminary surveys to gather feedback from stakeholders across various sectors. I'm pleased to share with you today that the responses were overwhelmingly positive, indicating strong support for this initiative. Bahamian businesses see the value in the certification mark that distinguishes products made with quality, sustainability, and authenticity. This feedback has been integral in shaping the direction of the program. As the legal authority responsible for establishing national standards, BBSQ has also been working diligently on the legislative framework required to produce and regulate this certification program and its quality mark. Our team has also traveled to Guyana to observe the Guyana National Bureau of Standards Made in Guyana certification program and engage with their stakeholders, learning valuable lessons on best practices for implementation. Additionally, we are in active consultations with our CARICOM counterparts, member states in Jamaica, in Barbados, and St. Lucia to help map out the criteria and standards for the certification program, ensuring that we are aligning with regional and international best practices. To further build momentum, we recently held a national designed competition for the Made in the Bahamas certification mark. The winning design will become a hallmark of quality and trust. It will be unveiled at the upcoming town hall meeting. Following that, any final design modifications will be incorporated, and the official mark will be launched with the program next year. We are also working closely with key stakeholders to ensure that this program is comprehensive and impactful. Our partners include the Ministry of Tourism, Tourism Development Corporation, the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Trade and Industry Unit within the Ministry of Economic Affairs, the Bahamas Agricultural Industrial Corporation, and the Manufacturing Association, the Bahamas Light Industries Development Council. Each of these entities has an essential role in shaping the program and ensuring its success. I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to our National Town Hall meeting on the 14th of November, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. at Holy Trinity Anglican Church. At this event, we will delve deeper into the program, review the proposed technical criteria, and engage in productive dialogue with stakeholders to ensure that the certification aligns with the unique needs and specifications of the Bahamian market. This is your chance to provide input, to ask questions, and help shape the final program. We also will be looking at various case studies from similar initiatives across the region and discuss how we can tailor the program to suit the Bahamian context. Your feedback is vital to making sure we establish a certification mark that reflects the high standards we all expect from Bahamian products. In closing, I want to reaffirm our commitment to making the Made in the Bahamas certification program a success. This initiative has the potential to elevate Bahamian products on the global stage, to boost exports, and enhance consumer confidence in the quality of what is made right here in our back doors. I look forward to seeing you at the town hall meeting and working with all of you as we move this important initiative forward. So I invite you to visit our madeinthebahamas.info website and register for the town hall meeting on the 14th of November. Thank you.
What does this mean for exports now, particularly goods like crawfish, things of that nature?
Straws. So it's all about economic value and quality. So we've always been making things of high quality. Our goal now is to promote these products and services and putting a seal or stamp of authenticity. We will be looking at technical components, like we said, labor input. We will be looking at whether it's raw materials, local input, the labor, how much labor force. So if it's 60, 70, 80% of the employees are all Bahamians, we'll be looking at all of those components, and then we'll have a seal of authenticity, because our role is to put that certification mark to say that this is actually locally made in the Bahamas. So then it opens up those doors, because many times exporters want to see that something has that certification from within the country, and we are the legal entity to provide that quality assurance mark. you. Thank you very much. All right, so save the date, November 14th, I believe it is, for that very important forum. Is there anything further?
How do the Prime Minister feel about the situation with municipal leaders?
Well, I don't think we want to say anything further than that. She has handed it over to her attorneys. They have issued a letter, I believe, which was publicly distributed, and anything further on that will be communicated through them. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for coming, and have a great afternoon.